At the beginning of this story, we see Morris, a clever thief who has been caught by police for bank robbery. They are taking him to prison for a lifetime sentence at the world's most secure jail, called Alcatraz. Alcatraz is a prison built on a small island in the middle of the ocean. This means that even if a prisoner breaks out of the jail, they still can't escape, because water blocks their path ahead. That's why this prison was considered the world's most secure jail. Only the world's top criminals were kept here. But soon, this prison's reputation was about to be destroyed, because now Frank Morris, a clever thief who had already escaped from jail several times before, had entered this prison. However, this time Morris was a bit worried because this jail was extremely secure. But Morris didn't want to spend his entire life here at all. He wanted to escape from this jail as soon as possible. As soon as Morris entered the jail, he started thinking about escaping. Morris was thoroughly checked from head to toe and locked in a cell. A guard comes to Morris and says, "Welcome to Alcatraz." And this is where the real story begins. Suddenly, a bell rings and all the cell gates automatically open. Officers call the prisoners outside. This jail's discipline is also very strict. Prisoners have to follow rules about cleanliness and going to their cells on time. Everyone wearing the same uniform comes in line for breakfast. In front of Morris is a prisoner named Litmus. Morris asks that he didn't get a fork, so how will he eat noodles? Litmus tells him, "Hey, this isn't your home, just quietly eat what you've been given." Then a dangerous prisoner named Wolf starts bothering Morris. Every prisoner in the jail was troubled by Wolf. He used to dominate every prisoner here and also had many assault cases against him. This jail keeps extremely dangerous prisoners. Here Litmus asks Morris for some food, and during this, Morris gives him his plate. When Morris looks under the table, he discovers that Litmus isn't eating the food himself, but giving it to a mouse. At night, a guard takes Morris to the warden. When Morris reaches the warden's office, the warden tells Morris that he knows he's very sharp-minded and intelligent too. But what use is all that here because many like him have come and gone, but no one could escape from here. Here prisoners follow very strict rules. Someone can come to visit you only once every 2 months, and that too only if he's in a good mood. The warden is a very strict person who gives prisoners very harsh punishment for even small mistakes. The warden says don't even think about escaping from here, or you'll be torn to pieces. Morris replies, "No sir, who would think of escaping while you're here?" But actually, from the first day itself, Morris had started planning to escape from here. During this time, Morris steals the warden's nail cutter when he gets a chance. Though it was a very small thing, Morris knew that even with this small nail cutter, great work could be done in a jail like Alcatraz. As soon as Morris returns to his cell, he hides this nail cutter in a Bible. The next day in the bathroom, Wolf again starts troubling Morris. But this time, Morris wasn't going to let him go. Now Morris shows his real nature and grabs him, giving him a good beating. After beating Wolf, Morris gained a different reputation throughout the jail. Everyone started fearing Morris. After this, Morris is given work in the library. There he meets a man named English, who is a senior prisoner of this jail. English was also sentenced to life imprisonment for murdering 2 people. He had spent half his life in this jail and knew every corner of it. He knew about everything happening in the jail. He also knew that Morris and Wolf had fought that morning. He gives Morris some books that Morris has to deliver to every prisoner's cell. In the next scene, they show an open area where prisoners are playing some game or another. There he meets an artist named Doc, who is making his own painting. Doc is a completely simple and decent person, who has been serving his sentence here for many years. He was very fond of painting and spent most of his time painting. Doc used to say that anyone could go crazy in a jail like Alcatraz, but because of his painting, his mind was still working normally. Morris asks Doc why he has painted this flower in the painting, when there's nothing like that on his shirt. Doc says that this is his happiness, which only exists in the painting, not in his mind. After that, When Morris looks to his right, he sees English above. Morris goes toward English. When Morris gets close to him, his followers stop Morris. Then English signals that he's one of us. Let him come. Morris goes and sits near him and immediately brings up what's in his heart. Morris tells him that he will help him escape from here. Hearing this, English starts laughing. Look, son, this isn't just a jail. This is all our grave. To get out of here, we first have to die. Only then can our dead bodies reach from here to the cemetery. Even if you climb these big walls, and then cross the dangerous forces and somehow escape from jail, avoiding hundreds of guards here through some magical power, you still won't be able to escape because the ocean will block your path ahead. So, don't waste time and quietly serve your sentence. At least you'll stay alive. But Morris was determined about his intention. He wanted to escape from this jail at any cost. That night, an officer tells Morris that from tomorrow he'll be given carpentry work. He'll also get 50 cents per hour as daily wages. Morris immediately agreed to this work because he thought he might get some tool there that could help in his escape. The next day, Morris asks Litmus about ways to escape from here. Litmus says, "Oh, this is very easy. Every cell has an air vent. Through that, you can reach the roof. From there, maybe you can escape." And smiling at Morris's words, he goes away from there. Then Doc warns Morris that Wolf is coming toward him. Then Wolf comes to attack Morris with a knife. Morris wraps his coat around his hand and starts fighting with him. Meanwhile, a guard comes to stop him, so Wolf also attacks the guard with the knife. Now the matter gets worse and the watchtower guard starts shooting. Only then do Morris and Wolf stop fighting. Morris didn't know that there was also a guard on the watchtower. Now he starts noticing everything about this jail one by one. Guards take Morris and Wolf to D Block, where prisoners are tortured in darkness all night. This was a cell where no prisoner wanted to go. Before going, Wolf threatens Morris saying, "Son, you will die at my hands." That night, Morris has to endure various tortures, which makes his condition quite bad. After staying in this dark cell for 2 weeks, they bring him back to his cell, where Litmus sends Morris a note through his pet mouse, which says, "Welcome back, Morris." One day, a new prisoner named Charlie comes, who is placed in the cell next to Morris. Morris and Charlie quickly become friends. Morris also introduces him to his other friends. At the same time, the warden checks every prisoner's cell without telling anyone. When he goes to Doc's cell, there are many paintings made by Doc in his cell. The warden is amazed that his paintings keep increasing day by day. Doc had also made a painting of the warden. Seeing it, the warden starts smiling. But for some unknown reason, the next day the warden orders the guards to throw out all the paintings made in Doc's cell. This decision of the warden completely broke Doc from inside, because Doc was only alive with the support of his paintings. He loved every painting he made, because here his only happiness was this, and even that was taken away from the poor man. Morris tries to console him saying it's okay. They were just paintings. You can make more. But Doc couldn't come out of this shock. The next day, seeing him, Morris tells the guard, "Please keep an eye on Doc. He looks very troubled. He might harm himself." Then the guard tells Morris, "Mind your own business." Doc is also given carpentry work along with Morris. Then Doc secretly puts something in Morris's pocket. After that, he calls a guard and cuts off his 3 fingers with the axe given for carpentry, and says, "I don't need fingers that I can't paint with." Eyeing this, he starts screaming. Then guards grab him and take him away. Morris sees that Doc has put the same flower in his coat that he used to make his painting. Maybe he wanted to tell Morris that these people have taken away his happiness from him. Morris picks up Doc's cut fingers, puts them in a box, and looking at the guard says, "Go give this to your warden. He'll be very happy seeing this." The next day, Morris is sitting in his cell. Then he sees a cockroach going inside the air vent, which gives him an idea that there must be some way to go outside from here. Meanwhile, English comes and tells that Doc cut his own fingers because his permission to paint was cancelled. That's why he got frustrated and cut his fingers. Knowing this makes Morris very angry. The next day in the dining hall, the warden asks Morris why he's supporting this Doc so much. He says there's nothing like that. Saying this, Morris goes back and sits at the table. There he meets two brothers, John and Clarence. But Morris talks to them as if he already knows them. John and Clarence were actually both in Morris's gang in some other jail. Now, escaping from jail seemed easier to John, because both these brothers were sharp-minded like Morris. And now all three started planning to escape from jail. In the afternoon, Charlie's girlfriend comes to meet him. On the other side, English's daughter had come to meet him. As soon as English sees his daughter, tears come to his eyes because his daughter had grown up a lot in his absence, and English was very sorry for not being able to see his daughter's childhood. On the other side, Charlie's wife tells him that his mother is very sick, and doctors say she won't survive more than a few months. Hearing this, now Charlie also starts thinking about escaping from Alcatraz, and meanwhile a guard comes and says that talking time is over. Now Charlie becomes very worried. That night he tells Morris, "If you make a plan to escape from here, include me too." The next day, Morris, Charlie, John, and Clarence have a meeting. Then Morris tells them that every cell's air vent opens on the roof above. And second thing is that this place is in the middle of a sea filled with salt water, due to which the walls have become weak. He has a nail cutter and has already started digging. If he digs little by little and makes a small tunnel to reach the roof, then after checking this place, it will be known how to escape from here. John asks if guards find out at night that you're not in your cell, won't they get suspicious? Then Clarence tells that he has a solution to this problem. He says that here there's a barber he knows who cuts prisoners' hair. He can supply us hair, and using that we can make a dummy head and put it on the bed. After which, even if we come out of the wall tunnel and go up on the roof, guards won't suspect because fake heads will be placed on our cell beds. But the issue was still stuck at the same point that they would escape from jail, but how would they cross the ocean water? Morris tells John, "Look, I'll need your help in this. You work in the clothing department. There you'll get raincoats made for those police officers. So steal some raincoats and give them to me. We can make a tube boat and life jackets from them and cross the ocean." Here, Charlie says, "Brother, give me some work too. I also want to help you people." Morris tells Charlie that when he digs the ventilation grill, Charlie should keep watch so no guard sees them. And when Charlie digs, he'll keep watch. Everyone likes Morris's plan, and they start working that very night. But the nail cutter was too small for digging the wall, which required Morris to use a lot of force, and Morris was having a lot of difficulty digging the wall. His hand got small cuts, but he slowly starts digging that hole. The next day at the dining table, he tells his friends that he needs a bigger tool for digging. It's becoming very difficult to buy the wall with a nail cutter. Then Morris gets an idea looking at the spoon in his hand. He deliberately rubs the spoon on his shoe to make it dirty. After that, Morris called the guard and said, "This spoon is dirty. Give me another spoon." Other people also requested the guard to change their spoons. The guard didn't see anything wrong with this and immediately gave permission to change spoons. After which he goes straight toward the table where another security guard is sitting on a seat. But as soon as he starts changing spoons kept on the table, John got that guard present there busy in conversation. Taking advantage of this, Morris picked up 2 spoons instead of 1 and hid one in his pocket. After which he goes straight to his cell. At night when English comes to give him books, Morris asks if there's any welding equipment available here. English understands that Morris still has the ghost of escaping from jail on his head. He says that he has already told him that his efforts will be wasted because he'll get caught and maybe lose his life too. In all these years, he never thought of escaping because he knows it's impossible. But if he's stubborn, what can he do? Try it. But Morris isn't affected by his warning. The next day he asks Litmus for matches and says, "If you help me, I'll give your mouse my share of food every day." Litmus happily agrees to this deal because Litmus loved the mouse very much. That very night, Litmus passes matches to Morris. Morris takes out one handle of the nail cutter with which he's going to make a small shovel. Then he breaks the spoon and connects it with the nail cutter handle. Then, striking matches, he welds both properly and prepares a sharp tool. Then he starts digging around the vent. Charlie keeps watch. If any guard comes that way, he'll immediately whistle and signal Morris. But while keeping watch, Charlie falls asleep. And then a guard comes there. But luckily at that moment, English came in between and distracted that guard. And on the other side, hearing English's conversation, Charlie also woke up. But in tension, he couldn't whistle either, after which he drops something. So Morris understands his signal, covers too. He vent, and lies on the bed. The guard asks why there's a burning smell here. Morris says, "Sir, with you here, who dares to smoke? I'm not getting any smell." That guard also gets satisfied that at least someone respects him. As soon as he leaves, Morris removes concrete from around the vent. But he sees that screws have also gone in with the ventilation grill, which will need some sharp tool to cut. During this time, whenever Morris gets a chance to go outside, he quietly drops the cement that came out of the grill outside. The next day, while doing carpentry work, he picks up a metal that's sharp like a knife. But Charlie tells him, "How will you take this outside avoiding the metal detector?" Morris says very confidently that he'll handle all that. When Morris goes outside, the metal detector at the door starts ringing. Actually, Morris had brought the metal in his hand. The guard asks, "Why are you taking this?" Morris says, "Sir, I thought I'd use this to hang clothes." The guard says, "Don't be too smart and give it to me." Saying this, the guard takes that metal from him and lets Morris go after checking him completely. But our hero is a hero after all. Actually, he had stolen 2 metals. He had brought one in hand, and the other was hidden in his shoe. With that sharp metal, he cuts the grill. Now comes the turn to make fake heads to fool the guards, for which all 4 do their responsibility work. Charlie gets some paint from the guard. He tells the guard that he's fond of making art. The guard also doesn't refuse and brings paint and gives it to him. Morris grinds the concrete taken out from that hole and makes a powder. John collects hair from the barber shop and brings it, and Clarence collects old books from the library. After collecting all the material, Morris starts making a dummy head using water and old magazines, on which he puts paint and fake hair to prepare a completely real-looking fake head. Along with this, Morris made fake cardboards to make his plan even stronger, so that no one could suspect that someone had made a tunnel in the front wall. One night, Morris decided to go up alone, for which he placed his made fake skull on the bed and covered it up to the neck with a blanket, after which he takes the fake cardboard and comes out through the tunnel. There, Morris grabs the pipes and slowly climbs up on the roof. On the other side, Charlie is keeping watch outside. After reaching the roof, Morris sees that there's an iron grill up there, which he can't reach even by jumping. Meanwhile, a guard comes and asks Charlie, "Why are you painting so late at night? And why did your friend Morris go to sleep so early today?" Charlie says, "Yes, sir. Today Morris got tired from carpentry work, so he went to sleep early." Then suddenly, the guard's stick falls from his hand. While picking it up, he sees that Morris's hair looks very strange. Now Charlie starts shivering with fear that today we're done for. The guard puts his hand inside Morris's cell and touches his hair. So Morris asks, "What happened, sir? Are my hair so beautiful?" Luckily at that moment, Morris had come down and lay there. The next day, Morris tells his companions that there's a way on the roof, but it's blocked with a grill, and that grill is at a very high height. He needs help from another companion. Then John says that he has completely dug his vent. Tonight, he'll also reach there. Both together will open the grill. That very night, Morris and John reach the roof through their vents. John lifts Morris and Morris grabs the grill. John sees that this iron grill is very strong and has been completely welded. There's only one way to remove it, and that is to cut it with a drill machine. The next day in music class, everyone is playing their favorite instruments. Then Morris's eyes fall on a small fan kept there, seeing which Morris feels that he can work on this and make a drill machine, for which he tells Charlie to somehow hide this fan from here. Charlie very easily hides this small fan in his instrument box. When Charlie comes outside, guards also check his instrument box, but they don't see the fan, and Charlie is allowed to go. As soon as that fan comes into Morris's hands, Morris starts working on it, and after several hours, Morris prepares a drill machine from that fan. That night, Morris and Charlie climb on the roof and start cutting that iron rod with the drill machine. The drill machine's sound was quite loud, and hearing the drill sound, guards start coming up. But by then, Morris cuts one rod of the grill and the drilling sound stops. After the drill sound stops, the guard ignores it and goes back. Now these four had opened all their paths for escaping, after which they were going to escape from the world's most secure jail, Alcatraz, on Tuesday night, from which no one had ever escaped. The next day they have another meeting, and that too in the movie hall where everyone is watching a movie. Between the movie's sound, Morris asks John and Clarence if their vent is ready, and what happened to those raincoats from which they were going to make tubes and life jackets. They tell that everything is ready. Their dummy head is also completely ready, just escaping is left. The next morning during breakfast, Morris placed the flower given by Doc on the table. When the warden saw this flower, the warden comes to their table and crushes the flower kept there. Seeing this, Litmus gets very angry because this flower was Doc's favorite and Doc was dead. Litmus attacks him in anger, saying you killed Doc, and on the other side you're not even leaving a small token given by him. But as soon as he attacks the warden, he suddenly gets a heart attack and falls down. Morris gets very angry at the warden, and all four decide to escape that very night. Morris is waiting for midnight so that when guards' watch becomes a little weak, they can escape easily. Then English comes to Morris's cell and gives him some books. So Morris says he wants to shake hands with him for the last time. English understands that Morris has made a definite plan to escape from here. He quietly goes away from there. But then what happens? Morris hadn't thought at all. The warden suddenly comes to check his cell, as if someone had told the warden about his plan. Morris gets very worried because after months of hard work, his efforts were about to be wasted. The warden ordered to check every corner of Morris's cell. The guard checks every single thing in Morris's cell. But Morris wasn't an ordinary prisoner who had made some small plan. Rather, he had made a completely clean and perfect plan that not the warden, but even the warden's grandfather couldn't catch. Even when the guard specifically moved the suitcase from the place where Morris had made a tunnel and escape route, Morris wasn't caught there either because he had already made a fake cardboard and fitted it very carefully in the wall. When nothing is found there, the warden and guard leave. But the guard tells that Morris and Charlie keep talking all night. Something seems fishy to me. The warden says, okay, tomorrow you change Morris's cell so that both won't stay together and won't be able to talk either. The next day at breakfast time, Wolf again threatens Morris and tells Morris that tonight will be your last night. Morris tells his companions that this donkey is saying right. Tonight will indeed be my last night here. But in the afternoon itself, Wolf goes to attack Morris with a knife. Then English comes in, between, and grabs Wolf. Actually, English also wants to help Morris, whether he succeeds or not, but English wants to help Morris in his work. That night, Morris, John, Clarence, and Charlie decided to come out through their respective vent routes and meet on the roof above. Here Charlie agrees to escape with his companions. But then as soon as he reaches the cell, he starts getting nervous. Sitting alone in the cell, he decided not to join the plan. And his remaining three companions come out through their respective vent routes and reach up to the roof. The three of them wait for Charlie for quite a long time. But after a lot of time passes, when they feel that Charlie won't come, they decide to leave Charlie and escape. The three of them start moving forward according to their plan. But here Charlie's dream of freedom was going away before his eyes. The three of them slowly start escaping, hiding from the searchlight. This way they reach the end of the building by hiding. Then Charlie, sitting in the cell, gets motivated, and he also decides to escape. He comes out through his vent route and reaches up to the roof. But now it was too late because he alone couldn't reach that door above. That means he lost his chance of freedom because of fear. On the other side, those three hang from pipes on the roof and come down to the ground and avoiding the security guard sitting in the tower. They reach the last wall of the jail, and then those three climb over that fence wall one by one and come out of the jail. Now those three running fast came to the seashore. Then those three take out raincoats and start filling air in them through their mouths. It was taking them quite a lot of time to fill with their mouths, but they had no other option besides this. That's why those three somehow managed to inflate the tube boat made from raincoats with all their might and put the boat in water. This way these three escape, putting Alcatraz's reputation in the dust. The next morning a guard is checking every cell. Initially everything looks normal to the guard, but when they reach Charlie is standing in his cell like a ghost and taunting himself in his heart that if only he had gathered a little courage last night, maybe he would have escaped with the other people. The guard asks, "Why is your friend sleeping for so long?" Saying this, he goes to Morris's cell and calls out to him. But when no reply comes from Morris, the guard gets angry and opens the cell and tries to lift him by grabbing his hair. But when the guard pulls him forcefully upward, the head falls down. Seeing this, the ground slipped from under the guard's feet because Morris was now not in the cell, but enjoying the outside world. He had left his dummy head on the bed, after which sirens start ringing throughout Alcatraz. The news spread throughout the jail that some prisoners had escaped from the jail. After which the warden starts looking for those three in every corner of the jail. When those three are not found inside the jail, the warden runs a search operation in the ocean. The warden can't believe that those three escaped. He feels that surely all three must have died in water. But deep inside the warden knew that those three were very strong. Those three must have crossed the ocean water and now be breathing the air of freedom. Officers from headquarters are questioning the warden. "Were you sleeping when those three escaped?" The warden is very tense. But then the warden finds Doc's favorite flower there. This meant that Morris also wanted to take revenge on the warden for Doc. Then the head of the search team comes and tells, "Sir, everywhere has been searched, but their bodies weren't found." Now to save his job and his own image, the warden tells him to write the report as he says. Write that those three tried to escape, but all three drowned and died in water. But no one believed the warden's words. After which Morris became famous throughout the world by the name of Genius for breaking Alcatraz jail. 1 year after this incident, Alcatraz jail was closed because now there was no guarantee that no one could escape from here. This way, this film based on a true story ends.